Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Knock Rio. I thought I'd get on here and give you guys an update on the website, MyBeatFi.io. Did a bunch of prompting on it today, and we made some updates to it that I think are kind of interesting and nice. And so I kind of wanted to show you the progress of that. So this is like video number 2 in the process. So glad you guys are hanging out with me or whatever. Check out what I'm doing here. For those of you that don't know, MyBeatFi is going to be my sync library and my website. Basically, it's going to start out with my production, but eventually we'll add more producers to produce music for sync. So we're going to be looking to produce music for other types of media too, all types of media, television, film. We'll produce music for podcasts and YouTube videos and, all of that stuff. So people have an actual real license from us to use the music, and they don't have to worry about copyright strikes and all that stuff. The website should provide them that license, and then they can go, if there is some type of issue or whatever, there really shouldn't be, but if there is some type of issue or whatever, they can say, hey, listen, I've got a license, here's my paperwork on that, this is why I'm able to use this content. So it's a lot, to kind of create and put together, but I'm working on it slowly but surely. We're working on it and we're making it work. So I just want to kind of run through it a little bit, show you some of the new changes that have been brought about on the site, just so that you get an idea of what I'm working on here. We've got this MyBeatFi sync now on the header. I thought it was kind of blank, so we'll probably figure out the font for that and all that stuff, and maybe like make it a little bit larger. I don't know how it's going to look so just yet on, say, a cell phone or whatever. We've got to kind of figure that out. But like it says, licensed music for your media productions, one-stop licensing, simple, clear rights, no hidden fees. Still have our search here. I don't know if it's searching exactly correctly now. I think we broke something in the search. But you're going to be able to search by the genre, which we have now added religious to that as well. That's something that I was missing, because there's a lot of Christian music, things like that. So that might be something somebody wants to search by, right? But we've got everything on there. Children's music, world music, whatever. Hip-hop, R&B, we got the whole thing on there. We can add to it if we need to. We've got the moods there. Haven't really added too many more moods to it. I think we got a comprehensive list here. If we need to add something to it, we can do that. We should be able to search by BPM, a minimum BPM, a max BPM range. The person can search like that, or they can just type in the name here, or the mood that they're looking for, the genre that they're looking for in the search bar, and it'll populate the tracks that have that metadata. Perfect for your media. Like we said, we're going to try to target TV shows, podcasts, YouTube videos, that type of thing, so that people have a license. We still haven't figured out the plans yet. These are not the prices just yet. I just filled in prices just so that we have an idea of kind of where we're going. Most of these, I've kind of separated it a little bit because I don't want to, I don't want to ruin the sync business and the briefs and stuff that come out. They pay a lot more, right? So we don't want to change the industry in that way. We want to provide, for the instrumental tracks, we're going to provide this type of license structure, right? They can grab the tracks or whatever, depending on whichever features are involved or whatever with it. If it's a single download, it'll be $7.99 or maybe some other price that we come up with or whatever, because maybe this person doesn't use it a whole lot. Then we've got, say, the gold access or whatever. They get 10 track downloads per month for that. It's a non-exclusive license or whatever. All of these are going to be non-exclusive, right? Because more people are going to be looking at the catalog, and other people may want to use the same track that you see. And for this price, that's what they can get, right? They can get a reusable track. Then it goes up to unlimited track downloads for a certain amount per month. So there will be a library of tracks that they will have access to. And my goal is to continue to create tracks and add to that library. So pretty much every week, whatever I'm producing or whatever for that week or whatever is going to go into the library. We might get 10 tracks that week. We might get 5 tracks that week or whatever. With time and when we have revenue, then I will be bringing in musicians and all that type of stuff. And there will be a lot of work being done to bring in different genres of music, and then I'll be looking for producers to add on to the team so that they can actually populate the tracks themselves as well and earn some money from that. So we'll work out what the splits will be and all that type of thing, how much money they'll make if they're putting tracks into the library itself. Maybe it's a percentage of whatever the person pays, whatever their contract or their membership is or whatever they're paying, maybe a percentage of that, when they're leasing the track. We still got to figure out the details on that. I don't know exactly what that is. I'll probably put that in Chat GPT and ask it to tell me like what's the best case scenario where we can grow and we can expand and we're not hurting ourselves and we're not hurting the producer either. So we're going to make this a fair exchange here. Maybe it'll be a flat rate. Like, hey, if you did this many tracks or whatever out of your memberships or whatever, we'll look at the memberships, we'll look at the percentage of that membership, and then we'll give you a flat rate or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But they should be able to subscribe with a card. We'll want them to be able to subscribe with crypto too. So we want to start having use cases for crypto. That'd be a cool thing. So that's basically the main page so far. We did have the browse catalog page. So the browse catalog page is going to show all of the tracks here. Right now it's only showing one. I added something a little bit different here. If it comes with full vocals or whatever, it'll say that down here. If it's for sync only, it'll also say that here. And it should appear on this page. I've got to go back and prompt it to make sure that all of the tracks appear on this main page. And then there's another page, though, that will, let's see, I got it here. Full tracks with vocals. If you go to that link, you can see there's another dummy track that's in there right now as a test example. You can see this one says sync only, and that's why it didn't appear on the other page. So this one is different than this track. This track can be licensed through the memberships that we have. It's just a general track that's in the grouping of tracks for the music library itself. But it happens to have vocals, so they'll know that it has vocals on it. This track is different. It says sync only. So this is like, okay, if there's a bigger production or something like that, they're not going to, and they want this particular track, they're not going to be able to just get that for the membership. The producer can kind of decide, and they can place in there when they're uploading the track if they want it to be just for sync briefs and things like that, to be considered for sync briefs. And then they will have to submit a proposal. They won't be able to just license it right away. They're to use the track, they're going to have to submit a proposal. And that proposal will have the name of the client, obviously. That should automatically populate. Maybe it automatically populates, or they can write something else in there. If it's a business name or something, maybe it doesn't match and their license needs to say something specific. Maybe they'll have to, we'll have them be able to type. Right now, you can't type in there, but eventually you'll be able to type in there. Then it gives a project description. They can describe what they want for the project. They get like 800 characters. Maybe we'll bump it up to 1,000 characters or whatever. We'll see what we need. But they can describe what the project is. Then the duration of use, whether it's, we want to use it for 6 months. We want to use it for a year. We want it to be perpetual or whatever. They can put that in here. They can also state whether they want exclusive rights. So if it's exclusive rights, then it can only really be, basically leased one time, right? So no one else will be able to lease it. So they need to be able to tell us like, hey, I want this with exclusive rights. And obviously then in the negotiation, the being exclusive, and if there's desire for that particular track by other clients, then obviously the sync fee, the producer's gonna have to look and say, okay, am I willing to accept what they're offering? So they can place their sync fee offer here. They can say how much, and then they can tell you when do they expect to pay. Immediately upon acceptance, net 30, net 60, net 90, right? So you know when to expect payment to be made. And then you can agree to that, or you can go back and negotiate with them and say, hey, listen, I don't want to get paid net 30 or whatever. I want you to pay me this amount, but I need to get paid net 30 or less. Maybe they put net 60 or net 90, but I need to be net 30. Can you pay net 30? You can conversate with them. I'll show you that in a minute. Then you've got the proposal expiration date. They can click on the calendar here and they can say, hey, we need this by April 30th. Or sometimes these can be like 3-4 months ahead, of time or whatever. So it's like, okay, it's not urgent, right? Or you can select the urgent proposal down here at the bottom, right? It's an urgent proposal. We need a response within 48 hours so we can get this process moving. So the producers that come on board, they need to be available. We want people pretty much that are doing this on a full-time basis to be available to make changes or do what the client wants so that you can get paid from that and handle the business correctly, right? Then they can submit a reference file. I don't want them submitting MP3s because that's going to get kind of large when it comes to memory or whatever. And then we've got to manage that, and that's not what we want. So what I'm going to do is probably change this to be just a box where a text box where they can put in the name of a band or artist, a song that kind of is close to what they're looking for. They want it kind of to be like that. And maybe they can put in a Spotify link or something so you can hear what tracks. So submitting this proposal will probably not only be for tracks that are already in there. Maybe they can submit a brief and say, hey, listen, we're looking for this type of track. Maybe we'll just have a submit button somewhere here where they can just submit and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. Maybe they didn't find what they wanted in the tracks that we do have. In the beginning, it'll be tough. But in general, they'll have tracks here. They'll be able to select it and say, oh, I like that. And they'll be able to submit that proposal. And then that proposal is going to go to your back end. So let's go ahead and take a look there. Let's see if I go, this is not what I want here. I want to go to the producer dashboard. So the producer dashboard is here. We saw the new track upload before. That really hasn't changed a lot. I did fix the background here so that you can actually see the keys. You can enter your BPM here. MP3 only link. If, say, their membership only allows them to get an MP3, you want to have an MP3 only link so that when they license the track, the download link that they get sent is this MP3 only link. If you're giving them the full track outs or they've paid for full track outs in their membership, then you'll have a different link for that here, right? So when they get their license for it, it'll send them the link and they'll be able to download the full track outs if that's what they're paying for. Then, of course, if it has a sting ending, they can select that. It's one-stop production, should always be that. And then if it's a full track with vocals or not. If it is and you select that, then it's going to say you can allow it to be used in normal memberships or you can allow only for sync briefs. So, or for sync opportunities, right? I don't know if it'll say briefs or opportunities here. We'll figure that out. But this only, or allow to use in normal memberships, then this will be in the normal music catalog. But if it's only allowed for the sync briefs, then that track will only appear in the catalog that's for full tracks with vocals, right? So we'll figure out the naming and all that kind of stuff. Everything doesn't. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, okay, maybe some of the naming has to change on the menus and stuff like that, just to make sure that it makes sense to people. Because sometimes they're going to be full vocals, but you're going to allow it to be in the normal catalog. If I go here to browse catalog, we only see this track here because the other one is full vocals and it's only for sync. So if I go to full tracks with vocals, it'll probably say sync only or something like that. I'll change that to like sync only. And then these tracks are what are available for sync or maybe for sync briefs. This obviously would change. It wouldn't say license track. It would say submit proposal if it's only for sync, right? So we'll fix that. We'll get that all done. But it's kind of cool. That's kind of where we are right now on the admin dashboard. Not that you guys really need that. I'm just kind of showing you what I've got on the back end developed as well. Shows me the total clients, how many producers we have on board, what the sales are, revenue is. There'll be a monthly revenue chart here. There'll be a license distribution chart, maybe by, what type of licenses are people buying, right? Are they, what kind of memberships are they buying? So that we can see what we might market and what we might sell, and what we might push or what might need some help to be pushed. So we'll be able to see all that. Then we've got the proposal analytics. So I'll be able to see on the back end, or my team eventually will be able to see on the back end, all of the proposals that are in the system, what the acceptance rate of those proposals are, what the average sync fee is, and then the exclusive requests. Remember, the exclusive requests are like within like 48 hours or whatever. So I want to make sure that the producer knows, hey, you got something in there that you got to give an answer back in 48 hours. The producer should be checking. They should be checking their email and all of that, knowing, hey, I've got a proposal in here. This might be my money, so I don't want to miss that deadline. I don't want to miss the 48 hours, and they're looking to do something quick, right? So you want to be on top of that. But I think eventually myself and my team will also kind of keep track of that too, kind of look and say, hey, listen, we got some stuff that's due within 48 hours. We want to let that producer know. We want to contact the producer if we can. If they haven't seen it, we want to let them know, hey, you got some business in here. What do you want to do? Then down here we have a producer list that I can sort by the number of tracks, who's got the most tracks or whatever, who has the least tracks, by the proposals that they're getting, by their acceptance rate, by the revenue. All of this is just analytics stuff that can be viewed. I can take, say, myself here as a producer, hit the view analytics, and it's going to populate an analytics screen for me to show me kind of what's going on. It's got what's happening in the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. This may go out a little bit further. Maybe we go out to like all time or whatever, kind of like we have. So, but it gives us all of the information here. I can't really click on the proposals here, but I should be able to show you what it looks like on the producer dashboard. So on the producer dashboard, you can see you have the upload new tracks. You've got your time frames here. These might change on my dashboard too. All that information is there, right? There's 4 proposals here, the acceptance rate, what the average sync fee is, and what the how many exclusive requests we have. This is just dummy information that's in there right now. It's not up and running yet. It's just dummy information, just so I can make sure things work. And then this daily proposal activity, we're going to see what's going on with that. It's going to be like bar charts here. I guess as the days go on, it'll fill in the days, right? Or whatever. But we don't want that huge gap. We'll figure out how to fix that. Talks about the total tracks, the total number of sales, recent activity. And then you get down here to the media and sync proposals. So this is a test proposal here. It's a TV commercial, a national campaign. The duration's 1 year. They want exclusive rights. And it is an urgent request. So that's something I would have to jump on, right? The status of it is pending. There's 6 days and some hours left, time remaining on it. The expiration date is 4/19, right? So this is going to count down how many minutes. You can click on negotiate. Oh, here it's telling you how much, right? They're saying, okay, we're willing to pay $5,000 and we're going to pay net 30. And then so you can go in here and negotiate. Okay, so we're interested in using this track for our national TV campaign. The campaign will run for 1 year across all major networks. Counter offers $5,000. Proposed net 30. Then as you type your message, you can say, oh, thank you for your interest. Given the national scope and exclusivity, our standard rate for this type of usage is $7,500, right? So you can kind of negotiate that as you start to build your business. The people that that we bring on that are experienced, they'll kind of be a little more experienced at it and know kind of how to say, hey, we're looking for this particular amount or whatever for it or whatever. But then you might be able to negotiate that. Listen, if you could pay right away, okay, good. If you could pay immediately, great. If you can pay net 30, great. If it's going to be net 60 or whatever like that, this is the rate that we're looking for. You just have to negotiate. You get what you negotiate, right? You don't want to piss them off because you don't want to send the money away, and you don't know who else they're talking to. But at the same time, you got to be able to run your business and get some revenue in, right? So you can type messages here, give a counter offer if you need to, and then what the proposed terms would be. And then if you need to attach a file or something to it, you can attach some kind of file to it. And then you send the response, and then your conversations will be here. You'll be able to view the history on it. Looks like it failed to load, so we'll figure out what's going on with that. You can accept it or you can reject it, right? And then they're going to get an email or something on their end saying, hey, it's been accepted. Or if they've got a client account, which they should have a client account, maybe it'll populate in their client account saying, oh, this was accepted. So all of that stuff's got to be tested and run through. Down here on the bottom, you have your tracks or whatever. You'll be able to listen to your tracks here the same way the client can listen to them. You can edit the tracks here too. If you need to add something or whatever, you can add that to it and just update it. So it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. You can change the picture. If you want to change the picture here, you can actually select that, update the track picture. A lot of work has been done so far. I can't really complain. I'm pretty happy with what I see so far. It's a big task. It's something, that that I love. I think, I love it. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of having control and seeing what the business is, you know what I mean? I want to be able to know like what's going on with my clients, what they're using, what they like, what they don't like. I want to have all that information instead of going through a third party that's going through to them and I'm not getting that feedback or that information. I don't want that. And I want to be able to have the library and build my own thing, right? And we're here to make money too, right? So we want to grow a business and have revenue so that we can do other things and provide opportunity and grow into other things. Who knows where we'll go from there? But if I'm producing every day, I pretty much am producing all the time. I know a lot of producers are doing the same, and we might not get the look, but if we own the platform, we might start to get the looks and get the relationships. We can start to build those ourselves. Right. So I know it's a big undertaking. I don't know how successful it'll be or if I'll need partner or whatever to kind of get it to go to another level or whatever. I don't know. Those things will come about. But so far, I'm happy with what I see as far as what can be developed here. I'm using this software called boat.new to develop it in. Some issues here and there sometimes with it or whatever. So it takes a while, but it's made it really easy and simple to kind of build this site out. So this is bolt.new. If you're interested in that, check it out, read some information on it, get into the YouTube and find some information on them. I think it'd be good. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys kind of where we're going, where we developed to. This is kind of our second video. So maybe in our third video, we'll be a lot further along. I've got to add some things there. I want to add like a chat function in the back for the producers, an announcement page, so that if something's being announced or whatever, that will be available to all of our producers at the same time. I want to have, I've got to set up the licensing so that it produces the license and emails it out, and that whole situation happens correctly, and the download link and all that kind of stuff, all of that stuff should happen correctly. I don't think it's too difficult to do. I just got to get it in my mind, like the process of it, and make sure that all the steps are kind of covered. And, and then maybe we go from there. We'll see what tracks need to fill out the library. What tracks are we going to start with to fill the library out? I've got some stuff that I've already done, kind of for sync or whatever, so it's kind of specifically for that. And then I'll be getting into like just producing, bringing in musicians, producing, getting on the keyboards myself and doing my thing and producing, man. So that's kind of the goal. So I don't think it'll happen just in the next couple of months. I don't think, but you never know what can happen, right? So, we just stay ambitious and we stay trying to get at it. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw here today. I'm just trying to be ambitious and make things happen. I got these gray hairs or whatever. I can't be an artist forever, an artist or producer forever. I want to kind of be behind the scenes and let some of the young folks do their thing and push the music forward. But owning the business, I can still stay involved. So I appreciate you guys coming and checking me out. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw there, and we'll holler at you soon. Peace.